next episode of Discover Your Real Estate Career. I am super pumped because I've got a great guest here with me today, Mr. Mike Miedler, President and CEO of Century 21. Welcome to the Land of Discovery.
Thank you, Steph. Appreciate the invite.
Of course. So today we're going to talk about a couple different market trends that are going on in our industry. So what do you see happening for 2020?
You know, I think when you talk to everybody who's out there, 2019 was an interesting year because across the country, no matter what I saw or who I talked to coast, it was units were a little bit down, price was up. Anything in that 75% to 125% of the median sales price. If it was priced right, it rushed right off the shelves. The higher end was sitting a little bit stale. I will say this, that this year, I think the name of the game is going to be inventory. That's why I love what you guys did last year with your focus on listings, right?
Definitely.
Because those who have the inventory control the marketplace. And so it's a listings game. But I think, you know, if you talk to Freddie, Fannie, NAR, MBA, everybody sees units either flat to up, and certainly price, I believe, is going to be up again this year across the board.
So it's a great time to get in the market, whether you're a buyer or a seller or even an agent.
Absolutely. I think, you know, there's a lot of pent up demand, and especially for buyers, you've got mortgage rates that are at historic lows. People think that they will remain below 4% for the entire year, which saves hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars over, you know, the life of a year on a mortgage rate, right? So now's the time to get in. And I think for a seller perspective, you know, people are staying in their homes a little bit longer than they have probably from the early 80s, 90s. And I think, you know, they don't know what they can move up or out or downsize into. And I think, you know, for real estate professionals or sellers alike, you've got to be able to educate those people on what the opportunities are.
Definitely. And from your position as president and CEO of Century 21, how do you see and why is Century 21 aligned to win in a market like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we say this all the time, but we are truly in an experience economy. I mean, there's a lot of talk about disruption and technology and all these things that, you know, have entered into the real estate industry that are trying to, you know, change the way that we do business. But at the end of the day, people are using agents more now than they ever have, even in the 80s and 90s, at a higher rate. And millennials, who I'm sure you're one, are now the 90 million strong that are going to be moving into the marketplace and looking, you know, to establish their families and look at school systems and want to own a piece of the American dream. They're coming in as well and using real estate agents at a higher level than anybody else. And here's the reason. There's 180 steps from the time that you actually make an offer on a home to the time that that home buyer gets the keys, right? And it's the real estate agent, it's the professionals that you have in this office that do such a great job with customer care and experience that really guide people and are that trusted consultant through the process. And they see value in that. But at the end of the day, I think what differentiates Century 21, what differentiates Century 21 Discovery is the fact that you're focused on the experience over this being a transaction for an individual.
Absolutely. That's all it is. It's just that experience and providing great customer service and going above and beyond to help our clients out.
And what I love, if those of you who don't know, we just celebrated your awesome accomplishment last year, which is our President's Award, which means one, you've got the production to back it up, a Centurion office and company, but also your quality service pinnacle, which means you're very intentional about measuring what your customers think about you and caring what that outcome looks like. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mike. And then lastly, what can agents do to separate themselves from the competition? We talked a little bit about that earlier, but what can they really do to separate themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. So there's a couple things. To me, from a business perspective, the things that make agents extraordinary is one, that they have a clear focus on what they're trying to accomplish and what their why is and what their inspiration is. Number two is that they are confident, right? I mean, you have to be confident in this business. You always have to know that you're going out to provide the best service and that you are going to get your home buyer or seller the best experience possible out in the marketplace. And I think last but not least, and probably most important, is you have to be really honest and have great ethics, right? Because we are a large part of the American GDP. I mean, we drive probably the single most coveted dream in the U.S. in that we move every one of our economies in a big way, our local economy and the broader economy. And I think, you know, we have such a great responsibility. And so if you're really focused at what you're doing, if you have a great attitude and you're out there being honest with your customers every single day, they're going to remember that. You deliver the experience, you get repeat referral business, and you're just going to set yourself up for success.
I could not agree more. Something we always tell our agents, you just focus on being honest and ethical and providing the best customer service, and the transactions and the money will follow.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you so much for being here with us today. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully this will help some of you agents out there as far as market trends go or what to do to separate yourselves. But as Joe would say, charge on.
Charge on, guys.